Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Monday night, 8 p.m. The Live Lounge returns. Myself, Phil Bars, Jack Garwood, and Lee Boyce. The boys are back in town for the first time in a few weeks. Gentlemen, how are we?
It's been a bloody long time since all three of us sat here together, to be fair. Yeah. He's on mute. Yeah, good start, mate. Stay like that, mate.
Two of those.
It's been a while, isn't it?
Football show, please, gents. Darts show, please, gents. Not even.
It can be a football show if you want it to be, Dom.
I bet, yeah.
He's changed his tune.
He said it, not me. He said football show.
How is everyone? Everyone good?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, can't grumble. You know?
Can he complain?
We just do what we do. Never a dull moment in darts, is there?
No. Standard.
Yeah. So I'm just compressing a couple of folders at the same time, as in clips for the show that are too big for the back end. But welcome along, one and all. Chat room, how are we doing? Chat room's rammed already. Tommy, Dale is in. How are we doing? Paul, Craig, Ed, Richard, welcome along. Carl from Darts Tracker, how do you, mate? Hope you are good, mate. Good to have you in. David, HGV, Owen, Sam, how are we all doing? Yeah, Barney did do great today. Joe, Paddy is in. Daniel, Kieran, the A team, yeah, you know. Now's Big Johnny, who we slagging off, don't worry, we'll come to that, no doubt. Cheers, Fraser. Thanks for joining us, mate, as always. Warren is in. Trevor says, greetings from court. Great coverage today. Our pleasure, mate, and we'll be back tomorrow for more Pro Tour action as well. But we're going to crack straight in, boys, because, again, it's another ram-packed show. 2 hours may not be enough. We're going to start with the Premier League this week, because we approached halfway in the 17-week field at 16 regular weeks. It is the first time where top plays bottom, and so on as we head to the Emerald. But first of all, let's rewind. Let's go back to Nottingham. I thought it was a good night. It wasn't amazing, but I thought it was decent enough.
Standard with knots, isn't it? That's what I say all the time. I mean, I did miss it not being there this year. First one in a couple of years I've not been to, but also, like, just is what it is. It just exists.
Yeah. It's a weird venue. There's a few.
You always start off on such a positive, Dob. Always.
I mean, look, it's nuts, isn't it? But, like, yeah, it just is. It's just a huge bowl, right? There's nobody there that anybody's got any particular affiliation to. So there's no real bigging up from the crowd in any way, shape, or form of any one particular player. Obviously, Littler is the star at the minute. He produced a fantastic performance early on, and that was about it for the night. I mean, look, the last couple of years, Gary Anderson won his only night of the campaign there when he was there, but that was okay. And if you think back to the Premier League, nothing special in terms of the top moments in Premier League history have ever happened in Nottingham.
The one that I always remember was Fallon drawing McGlenn.
Yeah. But that's overshadowed by Humphries beating Gary in Exeter 2 weeks later.
Yeah, but no, but I was on about moments in Nottingham specifically.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I kind of remember from Nottingham. But look, let's crack straight into it. First of all, you touched on it there. Arguably, this is going to be tough to beat for one of the games of the year. Was Luke Littler absolutely smashing Michael Van Gogh in 6-2 with combined averages of 224.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And I guess the manner of the performance from Littler we're not surprised about. It was the manner of the performance of Michael van Gerwen, but he's been bashed. He's averaged 110 and been absolutely battered. The majority of picks I know we have had route ones, but the majority of these had Littler, 6-0, 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, probably Matt's majority of those because of the injury to Michael. The fact Michael performed as he did meant that Littler had to turn up, and my daddy delivered. And I guess the talking point which has blown up the internet was that one special leg because, let's be honest, of a ridiculous shot by Michael van der Wijn. However, we should be talking about how ridiculous of a lead it was by Littler to miss double 12 for the 9. But the checked out the 144 for MVG was one, a special moment, and two, the level of respect shown from Luke Littler after he'd done so close to a 9 to realise what Michael had just done, because that's something we'd probably expect from Luke as well. We've seen him do special things on the Super Series with different shots, so we wouldn't be surprised if we've seen Luke do that in the future. So the mutual respect between the two was very, very good in what was a great moment. But Luke Littler, just how hasn't he won a night?
That's one thing I'm looking at. He's racking up points.
Baffled.
He's putting in some ridiculous performances, and yet I'm looking at it going, he's not won a night yet.
How? And the thing is, he keeps saying in interviews, messages from his partner or family are constantly like, it's another 2 points. It's like the strategy is just to make sure that they win each night. But he's playing too good. Weirdly, he's playing too good not to have won a night. But we're now nearly halfway through, and he's still not got one. We was talking about Humphries doing this, and then he's done back to back, and there'd be no surprise if Littler done that at some stage. But how he's not won a night is just beyond me.
Oh, it's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers how he hasn't. But yeah, look, the 144 from MVG, he's got twice he's done that. I did it to Chisholm at the World Championships as well with the 141 as well. But look, just did a remarkable game of darts, to be fair. Anything else stand out for you before we just dissect it a little bit more?
No.
Not from an individual performance.
We should probably talk about
that. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how he has, but fair play to him because Gerwyn Price was incredible in that game, and he can't finish games at the moment.
Is it games in general, or is it this tournament?
I'd say games in general, because we've seen him do it on the Pro Tour this year as well.
Yeah, well, he's not been at the Pro Tour today, so I guess it's difficult to judge that.
But yeah, in general, we've seen him do it this year. We've seen him do it on the Euro Tour as well. And I just think that maybe Gezzy's got a bit of mental block when it comes to winning games at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There's that side of it, and then he's coming up against Peter Wright, who struggled in the Premier League, and I know we'll dive into today's action, but Peter Wright today has found a way to win games that some of them probably didn't deserve to win. He's done that on Thursday against Gerwyn Price, and it's a boost. It probably still won't be enough to put him in contention, because he doesn't seem to be playing well enough to do that. But it was getting over the line. Majority of people were pleased to see him win. It's not nice to see someone just sat there every week and you're always just seeing him on zero. So it was good to see him dead off the mark. But then it was a bit of a return to normal with the demolition in the next round for him.
Yeah. I've starred a comment. Trevor, I've starred your comment about Luke and his social media. We'll talk on that in a little bit, mate. So I haven't ignored it because it is a very good point. So we have starred that because he may get a rough ride in Liverpool. So yeah, but yeah, look, Peter Wright, and then he played well against Luke. To be fair, I thought he played better against Luke and got thumped than he did against Gezzy.
Happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, all of a sudden, in the space of a month, Luke Humphries is showing that form that catapulted him to domination at the back end of last year. because in the last 2 weeks he has looked irresistible.
He has, and it's come off the bat. I don't know exactly the date it was released, but it come off the bat of him coming out and having a dull bat at the critics who were slagging him off as being not a great world champion in regards to performances and wins. His percentages was quite low to the start of the year. Since he's made that comment, the fight bat has been something else. He's obviously looking untouchable when it comes to in the Premier League with back-to-back wins, and you wouldn't be surprised if he goes on and makes that 3 in a row on Thursday, because he does look unstoppable at the minute. It is going to take, or you would assume it's going to take, something like what Littler done to MVG to stop him. Not from Littler, it could be from a few who moved up that level. Asp has found his form in some. But at the minute, especially on stage, Humphries is looking like the best player in the world.
Luke and Luke are head and shoulders at the moment the best 2 players in the world right now.
The level of consistency from game to game is why Luke Humphries is in the position he is and Lou Littler isn't. That's the only reason Lou Littler isn't able to maintain the utter brilliance that he's showing, i.e. against Michael this week and he's shown in previous weeks. That drop from game 1 to game 2 is the sort of concern from him being the best player in the world, but not a concern in regards to him being in the top 4. That's surely going to be a certainty.
Yeah, interesting as well. Warren says, help that Sky had what's becoming their A-team out, Dawson, Webster, Mardle, Part. Yes, to a point, but I still think that lineup, I agree, that lineup is incredible, but only Dawson as a non-player, I still think it needs another one for a 5-man team instead of 4.
I'm free on Thursdays.
Anyway, moving on. No, don't get me wrong. Those 4 are absolutely incredible, and I agree that I think those 4 plus one other is Sky's best lineup.
Yeah. Who would be one other? Realistically,
I don't. That's the issue, because it's a non-player. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
There's only one good enough. That's a non-player.
Rod.
Murph.
Sky aren't going to go down that route. As in, I'm saying in terms of their current team, not bringing anyone new in. Murph's incredible, but they're not going to bring anyone.
No, like, in an ideal world, he's the fifth. He's your other anchor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Murph's absolutely amazing. So I was thinking of their already current.
No.
I don't think there's one there. Phil, for that position.
No, I'm not saying there's not.
Not anymore. If we're having this conversation 5 years ago, Rod stood as top of the list.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see which way the Sky team goes, because there are certainly movements to change it of late, and Dan getting more and more is immense. But the only other thing with that is Dan won't be there if there's a Euro Tour. Dan won't. What's that?
I suppose he is the lead.
I already know he's not there when there's a Euro Tour.
Yeah. For this year, but I suppose if it's all managed by the same people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If that happens, then possibly, yeah. How we doing, Anthony? Hope you are good. Paul, love that comment. But right, before we go and look at Dublin this week, I've got a couple of clips to play because there was 2 really good interviews afterwards. Would you like Peter first, or would you like Humphries first?
Peter. We celebrate winners second. Thank you.
Yes, I feel like that, and I guess all the other players are going to be feeling like that, as well as because obviously we've got a new kid on the block who's just like doing crazy stuff and making it look so easy. And obviously, I said a couple of guys in the back row now. He is obviously, we're on about Luke Littler. He is the next person that's going to rule the roost. Obviously, we had Phil Taylor. We had obviously Eric Bristow. Then we had Phil Taylor. Then we Michael van Gerwen. Now we all thought everyone's on their day can beat anybody, but this kid, it's just something else, something special. He's got something special, and obviously we all step up our game. Otherwise, we're going to be left behind.
At 17, could he be the best ever then?
Yeah, until someone else comes along in maybe 10, 15 years' time, But yeah, it depends what he wants to do with his life, or he gets fed up with, stuff to do in media and whatever, if he'd rather go and play his games or whatever. But yeah, as long as he's interested and he's going to be dangerous to darts, and to be honest, it's only going to go up because of him.
Spout a bit like an older statesman though, by saying playing his games or whatever, like he doesn't know what it is.
What's those packs he opens? To be fair, a really good assessment from Peter, I thought.
Yeah. Still, I don't know. What he's doing right now and the level he's producing is absolutely ridiculous. But the fact he hasn't won a night in the Premier League yet is just a little strange. Obviously, he's not playing in the Pro Tour today. He's already won one of them. He's won a World Series. But I think there's still an element of getting carried away for best ever. Don't get me wrong. Talent-wise and impact in terms of new on the scene, we've never seen anything like this. Even when Van Gerwen first burst on, he wasn't doing this. He had a dip and then he came back and he started to win titles. My worry is if and when there's a dip, what happens with Luke? How quickly can he respond and how long he can maintain this level overall?
I disagree with your point. I think winning the Euro Tour this year is bigger than winning an individual night in the Premier League. Personally. If he qualifies for the final and doesn't win a night, it's not an issue.
Yeah. Look, I just think that's the way people are talking about him. It's almost like he never loses a game, right? And that certainly does happen. And it's good. It keeps him grounded. It keeps him humble. It keeps him hungry to go and win more. But I feel like some of the comments in the media these days are he's just untouchable, and he's not. He's shown that he's human. I just want people to stay grounded a little bit.
I think it's past that. We're talking, in terms of sporting things, we're talking like when Lionel Messi broke into the Barca first team and things like this. Just because of what he's doing, it is the thing. So I agree with you. He's not untouchable. No one's untouchable now in this sport. But in terms of the other side of it, I just think let's just go with it now.
Yeah,
that is the one. That's the question: is the Premier League form? And just looking back through the weeks, he's reached the last 4 semi-finals, but then not reached a final in any of those. He's only reached 1 out of 7 weeks final. Obviously, done ridiculous things on the Euro Tour. The Premier League, he's competing against the best 8 selected at the start of the year by the PDC. And not to have won one is why that question's been asked. And to be honest, part of me thinks it's great that we're asking that question, because he is on that very high pedestal at the moment of being the superstar player. But every time we've asked him a question, we've been joking around or we take the myth about me not saying he'll win a Pro Tour, or will he get through his first game at the World Championship because of pressure, and all of those he absolutely demolished. So there's not saying that us asking questions isn't a bad thing. We're not pointing down him by saying that. We're just saying the question mark right now is you haven't delivered on a Premier League night from 7 o'clock till 10:30. You've had moments of utter brilliance, but you haven't delivered in 3 games consecutively. Will that happen in the next 9 weeks? I'm 99% sure, because I think everyone is that he's going to win one. It's just the focus is on him to perform in that first game, because everyone's tuned in, whether it be 7, 7:40, 8:20, 9 o'clock, whatever his time slot is. The viewing figures, without doubt, go through a roof for his game, and he's got to know that. So that the level of performance in his first round to second round does tend to drop significantly. it's just managing that throughout tonight. It will, Tom. There's no issue around that. Sort of him being the best ever is difficult to Dobbs sort of saying he hasn't won anything yet of real note. But he's only played in 3 major events, 2 UK Opens and a World Championship.
Yeah.
So it's hard to judge him on what he's won in a major event when he's only played in 3 of those. One of those he wasn't a professional at the time. It's he is going to be a great, you would assume. How far he goes, let's enjoy the journey.
He is also at that point a little bit where everyone wants to raise their game against him in that field.
100%.
Because he's the young gun superstar. A, there's more attention on anybody that beats him. And B, they want to make sure that he doesn't get too far ahead in terms of head-to-heads and stuff, that he's just got them all exactly where he wants them.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And we've spoken about it before, but this is benefiting one other person, and that's Humphries, who's sort of gone under the radar, being top of the league, winning back-to-back nights, but we probably spent more time, as has everyone else, talking about Littler.
Which
so
I do feel bad for Humphries in that regard, because as number one and world champion, 95% of coverage should be on him. He's done everything in the right way. He's progressed through the youth ranks. He's picked up the World Youth Championship. He's been knocking on the door. He speaks very intelligently. He carries himself very, very well. He is exactly the right age, the right image that they want to push the sport to a global audience, to show off to sponsors, etc. And actually, we've gone, nah, we like the 17-year-old that eats kebabs.
We have, but I feel like potentially Humphries could have been a bit offended by that in the early stage of the world champion. But now the realisation is, I'll use this to my benefit. And why wouldn't you? He can spend more time concentrating on his game while Luke Littler's doing Tomic Relief or Jonathan Ross or whatever else he's into next.
I do feel like this is the era, despite the dominance in the sport and how good it is, where more players want to go under the radar than ever before. There aren't as many that are comfortable with that big target on their back. And whether that's because everybody's got so many opportunities to kick them down, they play each other so often. There's so many events these days that just dominating people just doesn't happen. Phil Taylor was more than happy to walk around telling everybody how great he is because they only got one shot at him. And then you play a few mind games with you and you're already behind the 8 ball. And then there's pressure on. And then you're going, well, actually, he's the best of all time. I'm only going to get one chance to beat him this year. And I'm already 4-0 down in a race to 6. You had him right. But you can be 4-0 down the race to 6 to Luke Humphries this week. Play him next week and be 3-0 up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Right, we've also got a clip from Luke H again, which is dominated by Luke L.
No, not at all. There is no excitement when Luke Littler loses because, like I keep telling this, there's 8 players there that can all beat each other. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen every week. Peter obviously hasn't been at his best, but he almost beat Luke, didn't he, in that game where no one probably would have given him a chance. So, there's no excitement if he loses because I tell you this, everyone's beatable in this game. And if I'd have played Luke in the final, I'd still believed I could have beat him, just like he would have believed, he could beat me. But it was Nathan. I had a job to do, and I did it. No, not in particular. I think Luke's obviously it's his first year, isn't it? He's got to learn. He's going to learn a lot. I don't think he's. I spoke to him earlier, and obviously everyone knows this. It was news on there about what happened between him and Ricardo, but. He goes the ways he wants, isn't it? It's up to him. If he wants to, I look at it as if he goes that way against me, 147. I'll be happy because I feel like he's got less of a chance of taking out than he would if he went the normal way. But he's young, and I said to him, you just do what you want to do, Luke. Don't let anybody influence you or tell you what you should or shouldn't do. There's no arrogance in him going that way. If he feels that's the way for him, then he should do it. I think he's, like I say, he's still learning. He's got a long future in this sport. We all know that. It might not be what everyone expected. They probably would have thought he'd have won a couple of nights in the Premier League, but I pretty much assure you he will win a few in the next 9 or 10 appearances. I think he'll he'll win a couple. But he's playing great darts, so you know, I think he deserves a lot of credit, and he's making the sport bigger than it's ever been.
It's that line at the end.
He gets it.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's that line. But again, spoke so well.
Yeah.
I know he got a lot of stick, but an unbelievable world champion. Right, let's move on. Night 8, halfway point in the regular Premier League season as we head to the Emerald Isle. We're going to the 3 Arena in Dublin. Looking forward to this one. This is my favourite Premier League night. And someone said in the chat room, yeah, Bob, pretty much, I think everything apart from Aberdeen, where there is a handful left, every Premier League venue sold out, including the O2. That is ridiculous.
Aberdeen's a night Littler wins, by the way.
Yeah.
He's in a half of the draw with Aspinall and Wright. It's the first time it construes that way. Otherwise, he's running into a Smith, a Humphries, or a Van Gerwen at some point in every single week.
There we go.
He's saying that's the first one he wins.
I said he wins that week.
So you're not answering that question now. Okay.
Right, let's go through them. Chat room, get involved as well. First up, it is 1v8. Luke Humphries taking on Peter Wright, and although we've seen a massive improvement from Peter Wright, is this a bridge too far in Dublin?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's just hope it gets done quicker than it did against Adam Gowlas earlier. Oh, me.
39 minutes for 10 legs. What a stinker.
Great game. Great age.
And again, that's nothing to do with Peter either.
I mean, he's hardly rapid, but yeah. 6-3, Luke.
6-1, Luke.
I need to write these down, don't I?
6-3,
New
Luke.
8.
What you done, Phil? 6-3 as well.
6-3, yeah. Then
I'm literally giving you to the end of this week, by the way, to go back and find the previous ones that aren't in our chat. If not, you're not scoring any points for it.
Do it next. I'm going to do it next week because I haven't got time this week. I'm physically not at home. This is not it. 4 versus 5. Rob Cross against Nathan Aspinall. And again, 2 players that are unpredictable.
Well, I'm going to predict an unpredictable last leg decider win for Rob Cross.
No, it's not that unpredictable because I've just typed down exactly the same thing.
Hook!
Oh, shit. Both missing the Pro Tours this week again, I think. Maybe a good
plenty to go off. Yep, solid. Cheers, boys.
No, I just think that both of them will be refreshed.
That's 3 times already, and it's only 8:30. I apologise.
That's fine. I'm going for a Rob Cross win, but I'm going to go 6-4 to Voltage. MVG versus Gerwyn Price. The unpredictable Michael Van Gerwen against the man that will get to 5 legs and struggles to finish it off in the Welshman. What are we going for?
That is exactly how I've predicted it. That Price will get to 5 and not no more, and MVG will win the day.
False. Gerwyn Price 6. Michael Van Gerwen 2.
I am going 6-4 MVG. And then the last quarterfinal, 3 versus 6, Littler against Smith.
Luke Littler 4. Michael Smith 6. I don't know the exact numbers, but this is one of them where it feels like Smith's head-to-head against him of late has been pretty good. What are you shaking your head at? Have you got the same?
Yep, exactly the same.
They've played one.
You know what? I don't know how I felt about Littler having the break this week. I'm not sure how much it was required.
They've played 3 times and Smith's 2-1 up in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, I'm honestly not sure about him having the break today and tomorrow.
Especially not as you're just signing ultimate cards. I mean, he'll probably earn as much from those cards as he would at the Pro Tour today, but still.
I just think there's going to be opportunities throughout the next few months where that break early on in the week will come anyway. I'm just not sure it was needed today. But I think Smith will beat him.
I'm going for Littler. And I'm going 6-4 to the Nuke. Overall, I'd like your finalists and your winner. Chat room as well, get involved.
Hat trick. I honestly can't see anything else. I just think at the minute he's looking. Humphries is looking unbeatable, and it's a nice half to have. It's a very nice half to have. So the fact that I can't see him any other outcome than him being in that final, I think he beats Michael Smith in the final. But I think he beats him to halfway. Yes, Darb.
Exactly
We spent too much time together.
It's Smith 6-3.
Oh, friends.
Fuck's sake.
Did you see his post today, Phil? What Jack didn't include in that post is that he's taking me with him. I think by the sides of things, does we've got the same mind.
You can sleep in the cupboard.
Oh, Luke Humphries, friends. To be fair, I'm going for a hat-trick as well, but he beats Luke Littler in the final. 6-4. So no one back Luke Humphries this week then.
Yeah.
Before we move on for the Premier League, I just want to touch on Trevor's comment. Liverpool could be a bit sticky after social media activity this week.
It could, but that's the other side of that is it's still a fair few weeks away.
Scousers don't forget.
Well, one, it's a fair few weeks away. Two, there's another meeting between those two teams before then. So it depends how much he gets involved on that occasion, depending on the result, to then increase that. It's not the brightest of moves. We've said it before, isn't it? Because it's one of them. It's okay doing it now when you're playing so well. But if you're ever at a time when your form isn't quite there and then you've got that, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. So it's not the greatest of things to do, but it does show, I guess, that he's trying to interact with his fans, just a select few, and not all of them.
Look, we saw what happened to Rob Cross when he went to the blue half of a Scottish city just to watch a game. Doesn't even support him, just went to watch. In this rivalry, it's not the brightest. Look, it's funny, but he's going to get some.
Good. Little shit.
There's one nibble he's already got.
You can go off someone very quickly.
I liked him even more. I was going to pick him to win this week just because of that tweet.
AS Golf, cheers, mate. Thanks very much for that, buddy. Not a problem at all. How we doing, Harry? How we doing, Anthony? Hope you are good. Yeah, look, Premier League. Right. You know where we're going next. On Thursday as well, just gone, we touched on the initial incident last week because it only just happened. But in the speed of sand, we had another tour card holder not available to play for a while as Adam Smith-Neale was suspended until his disciplinary hearing, boys, for that attempt at fighting. But currently the big dog is big banned.
Suspended.
Same thing. Can't play.
No, because a ban has an indefinite ending on it.
He's banned. Can't play.
You're banned from chatting. Matt Anker said it pretty well. A lot of people saying he'll get a big punishment. Potentially that will see him beyond the duration of his tour card right now and minimise his chances of getting it again. I think that would be quite harsh. Consider it, going around sucker punching somebody, not a good look. If he'd done that in his darts shirt at a PDC event, fine. To do that at a different event and cop a significant ban, I think would be incredibly harsh. Personally, I'd look at something like 3 months at most for bringing the sport into disrepute. Whether or not they go any more than that, and I'd have serious question marks given that Kim Hybrex, there was a video very recently of him on social media assaulting another tour card member outside a PDC venue. Well,
I'll come on to that in a second because I want to get your thoughts on this as well. First of all, let's play the clip from Matt. Anyone think we teed this up? I've got the clip that we put out. Let's play this and then we'll reconvene.
Oh, more so than ever. And to be fair, it's all within the contract. It's all in black and white. They know what they're signing up for. They know the job and the role. They know what it means to be a professional dart player. They know what it means to be in the public eye. So anyone who falls foul of that, it's through their own stupidity rather than sort of being unaware or uneducated in the situation. The second you get your tour card, you have to have a whole meeting with the PDPA who lay everything out for you, what your roles and responsibilities are in returns to behaviour, in terms of taxation, everything. So there is literally no excuse for any sort of slip. And it's not just the media. This is involvement in darts all the way through. I recently went to a dart shop and they said they can't even go dartboard for the next 7 weeks. Because the suppliers no longer have them. The companies don't have them. So it's literally booming all the way through the sport, and it's going to benefit everybody if everyone can embrace it in the right way. But under no circumstances is that acceptable, what happened in that situation. You should know better. It will be a ban. I think this could be quite a sizable ban because, as you said, the sport is under the microscope at the moment, and I think he may be made an example of.
That's the bit that I think he'll get. It's because, like no other before, the sport is under the biggest scrutiny and microscope at the moment, like it has never been with outside media, partly because of what Luke Littler is doing and taking the sport to a wider audience. I think he's going to get made an example of. I genuinely do.
This very much feels like a school playground. He was talking as well, whatever, right? But the argument I have against that, and I'm not against a sizable ban if they remain consistent with it, because that's all you want in any sort of punishment system, right? That's all we ever want as football fans. That's all we ever want in any situation, is if you're going to dish out a ban or suspension like that, then we want some sort of consistency for what is effectively bringing the sport into disrepute. Like we've already mentioned, Kim Hybrecht's video has been on social media where he literally assaults another tour card holder outside of a PDC venue. Plus, we've heard about plenty of indiscretions from a young new tour card holder in Leighton Bennett over multiple weeks now, including dev tour behaviour and then behaviour within the proximity, not at the event, but within the proximity of the venue in Minehead, which went public on social media as well, via videos. Whether people leak that from Snapchat stories or what is a different matter, and you should be considering who your friends are. But if there isn't similar action towards somebody of that age, the message it sends then is that we've done this because of who you are and because you've got a history in the sport before you were a tour card holder.
And that might be more the route I would look at going down in regards to a 2-month ban or whatever it may be. And then I know it's very difficult because of him potentially only being a tour card holder till the end of the year, but then a 2-year where they add on so they can say another 6 months. So it could be a 9-month sentence. However, only 3 months is now, and then a further 6 months would be if you offended a suspended sentence. That's the word I'm after. That is probably more the route I would go down, just on the basis of it allows them, because if this was someone, a Premier League player, for example, that ban wouldn't be as strong as what it potentially would be. It's setting a precedent, but equally,
I don't think it would. We've seen Eddie Lewis throttle somebody on the off kit. You got a warning.
Yeah, this is someone launching a punch at someone. I know it was unsuccessful and very poor, but I think that's something I would be looking at the line of doing it. I know 1 month, 2 months, 3 maximum for me, and then the rest of it suspended, whether that be 6 to 9 months. But then it's difficult to manage that. Would that be across all PDPA events, or would that just be for PDC? Is it PDC who are going to?
No, it's the DRA. Ban? So if it's a ban, it will be from all DRA sanctioned events.
And that's where it would make sense doing it, because you could do that for the next 2 years, a suspended sentence.
I personally think it will be around 9 months, so he can't go to Q school. I genuinely believe that he will miss Q school because of it, and it comes down to eyes on the sport. They have to be looking to send a message out that this is not acceptable, and I genuinely think that's what they'll do. Look at the Gerwyn Price fine. When it first happened, they sent out a massive statement. Although he got half knocked off, the original one was a complete statement sent. And I think they'll do something similar here.
Then I expect similar for Leighton Bennett in the coming weeks.
We'll come on to that in a second, because people are asking about the Kim Hybrex thing. I think Kim Hybrex is a lucky boy that his has already been dealt with before that video came out. If the video had come out before it had been dealt with, again, I think he's fucked. Is my opinion on that one. Because you think that video only came out after it had all been done.
But if this would have been reported and not video evidence, would it have been less? It'd still be playing. It'd still be playing today, wouldn't it?
Without the video evidence, the DRA would never know about it.
But it may have been. It may have been reported to them.
Yeah, possibly. But without video evidence, it's one word against another. It's the fact that there is CCTV has absolutely killed it. Is the thing. And going back to what you said, Job, whether people like it or not just with this, people's reputation does go before them. You think go back to the Gerwyn Price incident, the fact that he got hammered and Gary got nothing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Gary deserved things, but Gary put his hands on someone and nothing. So people's reputations do go before them in cases. And I'm pretty sure Adam Smith-Neale's reputation will go in front of him.
Shouldn't.
I,
but it
I,
will.
I think 9 months would be ridiculous, though.
For a first indiscretion in a PDC, yeah.
Kim got a fine and a suspended sentence, we believe. Again, this is another point that I'll bring up in a minute. But going back to your Leighton one, I fully agree. I think he deserves a harsh punishment for his, or all of it. Combine it all together, he could be looking at a ban as well.
Rightly so.
100%. Again, the video in question breaks the law. So there could be, look, there probably won't be because it's just a thing, they'll just go, oh, whatever. But if they wanted to, it's a criminal offence. So, look, and going back to your point is, this is where the DRA really irritates the fuck out of me. Because they're quick enough to drop a statement on the website and say, we've suspended him as of now, which look, I'm all behind, by the way. However, they're not quick enough in putting stuff on their website in relation to cases and how they've dealt with them. So they have to be fit for purpose in terms of this is the punishment and it goes out so everyone knows.
But this is probably more because it's made press, it's made media, national newspapers, so many clicks on social media. It's probably different to someone's bad behaviour in a floor event that's not streamed, or people breaking COVID rules or anything like that that's not in the public eye. That's why that's been delivered straight away, where the others haven't.
Oh, 100%.
Not saying it's right, but that's why it's happened.
Because, as well, we spoke about this last week, and again, it's so true that for the first time ever, the PDC haven't got control of the media like they used to, in terms of stuff used to get swept under the carpet and not reported. But now it's not just sports parts of newspapers and outlets that are looking for stories on darts players. It's the entertainment section and the front page journalists looking for stuff now as well. Where beforehand, you could have a word with a sports journalist and say, look, can you keep this out? And they probably would. They haven't got that at the moment because of the way the boom into the sport is. And a bit like footballers, darts is the new rock and roll at the moment. The second biggest viewed sport on Sky Sports behind football. And if players aren't careful and don't start acting properly, we're going to find them on the front pages of newspapers, not the back.
Correct.
Which, in one way, as Barry would say, all publicity is good publicity, but not this time. And
100% not this time.
And one great thing about the sport and the players, they are so accessible. It's almost like the people's sport. They'll stop and they'll have photos. They'll chat to fans even when they don't want to. But if this carries on, they will be wrapped in cotton wool and protected for the sake of themselves and the sport, and won't be accessible to fans anymore, which would be a crying shame.
For your career.
No, just in general is the thing.
Yeah.
And look, since the World Championships, the boom has been incredible. But I just think we're at this very delicate stage here where players have to realise their responsibilities. It's not just go and play a game. And don't get me wrong, 95% of them are incredible in terms of they get it. But you don't want that minority to absolutely screw this boom for everyone else playing.
It's just a bit difficult because i.e. today, a lot of them would have been have travelled to Germany, played in an event, had a lot of practice in the morning, come the afternoon from 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, if you've done in the first round, you've got to find something to do, which a lot of the time will end up being in the public eye. It's just making sure when you've got someone potentially enticing you but overly bothering you, just making sure that you're reacting the right way. If you're under the influence of alcohol, which majority of the time is why the incidents happen.
Mark, I get that, but again, you say because of the job's worth security, they're trying to protect the players. They've been put there by the PDC to protect their assets. Is the thing, and then I get it from a fan's point of view. It's shit because you want a picture and everything. Not just you, Mark, but in general. But also, look, the PDC and Matt and his team have got the brand to where it is, and they don't want it fucked up.
Yeah, I would flip that round. That I can only go off of recent experience and being there with the pair of you at the UK Open. I know you were there in a different position, Phil, working, but for me and Dob sort of down around the boards and the players, they're so accessible at the UK Open. It's beyond belief, I guess, as a darts fan, how accessible they are. From I've seen Graham Usher 2 minutes before one of his games out talking to his friends in the fan zone, just then walk around the barrier to play his game, don't win, and then come back round and was chatting to us all. That was just an example of one of them, but even on the evenings, the likes of Asp and Daryl Durney, just to name a couple, were with friends and family and whatever, but were there taking pictures with anyone who asked. And Ricky Evans, Jamie Hughes, the list probably goes on, who were there. So very, very accessible, as I've always found them myself. Premier League's probably a little bit more difficult. It's always down to be difficult because it's one event a year in that city. Predominantly, it's normally 8,000, 10,000 venue. To try and get hold of one of those players is going to be near on impossible.
Yeah, and Scott, I completely agree. But as a fan, it is what they do on the hockey. But unfortunately, with the way darts is in so much in the public eye right now, that they now become proper sports stars and story stellars. So whatever they do, the newspapers will want a piece of it. And look, whether that's right or wrong, that's the way it's heading. You can see that.
If Adam Smith-Neale tried doing that to Phil, he'd apologise that he didn't land properly and offer him to do it again. Please, Adam, please hit me. It'll make a great story.
Yeah, get the camera out. Go film this. We could then sell it to a paper with a red top for a bit of money.
I'd be sending it. Seeing how he punches, I'd be sending it to you, being frames. Don't worry about that. Then an easy 250
TTV says, "Gob, I'm surprised you haven't appeared in front of the DRA. Give it time."
You know what? Give me a job on the DRA.
No, you're surprised you haven't appeared in front of them.
Oh, for what?
Saying something stupid.
Stupid.
They don't know me.
But going back to the original point is, yeah, I think Adam Smith-Neale, I don't expect him to be a PDC tour card holder next year. And also, Gob, it goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier on the stream, that the fact that there is no governing body of the sport, that once the DRA pass their sentence, if you don't agree with it, who do you appeal to?
well, there is an appeals process through the DRA, but getting them to change their mind is different. But what it does do at that point is undo the suspension, surely,
But the
while it's being appealed.
no, because it'll be the same as it is now. He's suspended until.
Hmm.
But that's what I mean. Is you're appealing to the body that has banned you. They're not going to go, oh, I think we got this wrong.
Hmm. Another flaw.
But again, that comes down to the fact that there is no proper structure within darts. You've got the PDC, who are effectively the governing body and the promoter.
We need a union and we need it now.
It's never going to happen. It wouldn't be allowed to.
If only the PDPA were fit for purpose alongside the DRA.
Yeah, but you forget they get 2% of the PDC's 15
Right.
million. They're not rocking the boat.
Exactly. But they should do. For the players' benefit, that's what they exist for. What they appear to exist for, anyway. What actually are is Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother. He just signs shit off and they're the fucking dog's body if anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Toilet.
That's the problem, is the fact there is no structure is part of the issue. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. But the fact that this has happened, do you think that players, not so much the elite, but just Joe Blogs from 64 to 128, this will make them think or not?
I don't think it'll change. The manner of the punishment might see them change, but just that at the minute, it depends on what Smith-Neale gets. If, for example, he gets his tour card taken off him without as many words saying that, then you could see. But
I think all it will do is
it's probably harsh to say, because 64 to 128, majority of them, if not all of them, perform in the right way. Near enough all the time. So it's hard to say that.
But what could end up happening is the 64 to 128 that aren't playing enough darts, which is the biggest problem with the tour card system in the minute, play even less darts, because every time they walk in a room, there's someone trying to antagonise them to get a response out of them, similar to what happened with Smith-Neale. Because whilst throwing that punch was stupid, there's clearly antagonisation from the other side. There's a random woman that gets involved at one point, screaming and shouting at people across a pool table. Like, there's plenty that happens in the build-up to that incident, which has created that situation. How he's responded is wrong. He's got to somehow find a way to just walk away from it. Easier said than done. But actually, if everybody knows that all you've got to do is wind a player up, watch them respond, and go, actually, there's your career gone, you're going to get less and less pros branching out to go and play in local events, which strengthens your appeal of your local event, and it decreases the amount of practice they get as well.
But again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But surely the PDC don't want their tour card holders playing in the Dog and Duck Open.
Then the PDC need to give them more events and more money, because they haven't got a choice but to go and play in these events to try and stay match fit, especially when the back end of the season there's big gaps between pro tours. Some tour card holders played their last floor event the second week of November and then picked up their darts the first week of February. That ain't right. What else are they meant to do?
Yeah, but to be fair to them, look, I'm not standing up for this, but in that period, you can't put any events. What events? So because of the World Championship, you can't put any. And then You
But
have to have two schools.
there is still plenty of overtime. John O'Shea sat here enough times gone, the biggest issue with being a tour card holder is the gaps between playing events, and there's not enough events for us to stay sharp. 30 events a week, 30 events a year in a 52-week calendar, when most of them are blocked together as well. I mean, there are plenty of weeks where you're just not playing darts. There's no release. There's no you can go and play an XYZ. The minute there's a camera there, you're not allowed to play in it. And what we're now saying is the knock-on effect of this, because of the chance that people might try and antagonise you to get a response at you, is they're going to play even less elsewhere. That is not conducive to a healthy and active tour where you've got the best 1-8 players staying as the best 1-8 players.
I do feel sorry for the players from January to November, February to November. That window, though, I don't think there was an opportunity.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, boys.
Pro Tour.
In
Pro Tour
just an example of a period of time where they hadn't played a lot of darts, right? But
yeah, I think Pro Tour in July. The worst one is Pro Tour in July, the last one before the match play, to September, the middle of September. I think ends up coming. That's a killer.
Yeah, look, that I'm on board with. I'm not arguing that one, but that Pacific gap, you can't do anything about.
It's just the first one that came to mind because you know how long it is. But like, yeah.
Look, I know it's a different sport, but everyone heard the Barry leaked phone call in regards to snooker. Clearly never going to happen. Because it's the same principle. Although I agree, it should, but clearly heard from Barry in regards to snooker, absolutely no chance. So it's not going to happen in darts either.
Not a chance.
I agree it should, but it's obviously not going to. Is the thing. But always an interesting little segment. Challenge Tour weekend. History was made in Hildesheim. Noelyn van Luyden winning on the Challenge Tour, boys.
First female player to ever do so.
Yeah, I'm just getting the results.
And I think it was sort of the manner of the performances throughout the day just got gradually better. It was just an incredible run, some great stops throughout the day, and a bit of history made in the first event this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm just getting me. There it is. 6. Yeah. Noelyn beating Titus Canick in the final. Cam Crabtree, John Henderson, France, Russia. Darryl Pilgrim in the top 16. The list was big.
Who's who on the Challenge Tour, basically. But, I mean, just the sheer level of improvement in such a short space of time in those performances is quite staggering. And it makes the women's series very, very interesting if that is the level that Noelyn is going to play at.
Well, is that now the intrigue now is it's been done there, but it doesn't mean anything if it's not backed up on the women's series, because that's almost the bread and butter is getting to the match play and everything like that.
Yeah, and I guess it's because Noelyn was there last year, the expectation, especially now on the bat of winning the Challenge Tour, which is ridiculously hard to win, down to the amount of games that you need to play. The fact that Noelyn's totally not sat in one of those top 8 positions, a lot of expectation this weekend. However, the game's clearly there and the form's clearly there to do that across the day, but there's certainly more pressure. And as we know with the women's series, the draw can be brutal at times. That certainly could make it even more brutal this weekend. It's another name into that big mix of, we're normally looking at the likes of Bell, Fallon, Lisa, Maturu as sort of the 4, and when they draw early on. After that form, Noelyn drops into that and makes it a 5 in regards to that draw. And if things don't go away early, there is pressure to get into that top 8. That's a minimum expectation, I would think, for anyone who qualified last year, never mind someone who's now done and picked up a challenge tour.
Yeah, 100%. On that day, Rennie Idams won the other. Going into the Saturday, congratulations to Andy Bolton. Super difficult to win one challenge tour, but to go back to back, what a day for the X Factor.
He's looked sharp as Andy. He rocked up at the seniors of the week after a run to the final in Modus Super Series where he's beaten by Conor Heenahan, wins an event, and then he goes and wins back-to-back challenge tours in that field is some going, especially on the same day. To do like the evening and then the first one the next day when you've had a bit of a break, fair play, but to not lose a game all day in that room doesn't happen very often.
Is it only possible to do that for someone who's played Modus, who's played seniors, sort of that weekend, that constant? You don't think the pressure that's on someone doing into a Saturday at Modus, the fact you've probably played 2, maybe 5 days already that week, you've then done and won at the seniors, the fact he's used to playing that many games over a short period of time, this was all in one day. Is it only possible for someone who has those experiences, do you think?
Partly, but also players that aren't big practices. Because they're a long day, and we've seen people get practice wrong, especially for that second event, where Andy's not a big practicer.
His game is also heavily reliant on consistency. He is not the most explosive player you're ever going to see. He's not going to blow someone out of the water with 110 average and then rock up an average 70 in the next game. He's going to average 85 around there, and he's going to be about 30% on his doubles. It's what he does. It's so many 140s. He's not a big 180 hitter, but he hits a lot of 140s. And he just grinds it out.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Remember, don't forget, drop us a like and subscribe to the channel as well. Loads of you in watching, so if you could do that, that would help. And then going on the final event on the Sunday, massive congratulations to Lee Cox, someone that we've seen at the Super Series regularly. I know he jumps into the chat room every now and then and watches us as well. Really pleased for Lee and a breakthrough moment there.
Especially where he has struggled so often in the Super Series, whilst he's played well, to not just push on to a Saturday night or deliver what we know he can do. To get through that field on the final day will give him a massive, massive boost of confidence. Someone who's just started to doubt himself a little bit because of the lack of results in Portsmouth going his way. To get over the line like he has, superb wins over Warby, Dirk Telnikers and Plaisir to finish, that will really do him the world of good.
Absolutely. And where is it? 2 points. One off of Noelin winning. Simon says the women's series needs to be seeded now. I completely agree. I think the top 8 deserve that seeding and that little bit of protection. Would you do it in the top 8 of the main order of merit?
Yeah.
Yeah, should be.
And also that age-old question that keeps coming up: is Andy Bolton the best player without a tour card? He's certainly in that equation. He'd be in the top 5, but the top 5 players without a tour card, I think they'll rotate across the year depending who's in form, right? But I think Andy Bolton would certainly be in my top 5 of players that don't have a tour card right now.
Who are you putting in that mix?
What, right now?
Right now. Obviously, it's hard to not say the person who's top in Danny Hansen. But then, obviously, you can't just go off Challenge Tour. But John Henderson in that mix?
For me, yeah, look, Danny Hansen, Andy Bolton, Daryl Pilgrim.
Pilgrim's certainly in the conversation.
Scott Taylor. And
Scott Taylor.
Arguably, for me, Białecki would arguably be my 5. I'm not saying I'm right or anything like that, but they would be, I think, my 5. John Henderson would be close as well.
I don't think Sebastian wins enough. A healthy Steve West is still in that conversation. He's not on that ranking list, but
yeah, we're talking right now. He hasn't played since the op, and I know that's not his fault. Don't get me wrong. A fit Steve West, completely agree.
Yeah. Bo's in that conversation, I think.
That's the difficulty. A lot of people are saying Bo. It's the fact that we don't see it competing in the open events. It's very hard to judge. Because what Noah Lynn's done, no one would be surprised if Bo done that, but we just don't have that opportunity to see that as much. So it's a lot harder to judge someone who's just dominating the women's series.
I thought I'd go and have a look at the Dev Tour to see if there's anybody we've missed, but then it's tour card holder, 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 tour. Booking waste of time. Richard North. He's not the best player in his own house.
I think he could win an argument at the moment, let alone a game of darts. But yeah, certainly he's in that equation, I think. Look, everyone's list is going to be slightly different, but he's certainly in that mix. Yeah, Spellman as well. Forgot about Alex.
Have we seen enough of Ray Smith?
Not since he won at Modus, again for different reasons, injuries and stuff like that. But again, at one point, he was certainly in the equation.
Yeah,
100%.
Hello, Alex.
How are we doing, Alex? Hope you're well.
And there aren't many nailing 3 bullseyes with the trick shot you did the other day. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, the action looked good in that, mate. Looking forward to seeing you play again soon, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but plays, again, certainly in the equation, Wim, absolutely. That's what I mean. There's loads of players, and everyone's list is going to be slightly different, but there's certainly a core that there's an argument that they are better players than some of the ones that have tour cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to happen with the format as is.
Yeah.
Always.
I think Leonard Gates has got to be in that conversation again, by the way. Didn't quite go to plan at the Tavern, but to make the run that he did at the UK Open.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, again.
No doubt we're seeing him in Portsmouth in the very near future, given that he's in the UK this weekend.
Yeah, I can tell you. I've got a driving from Blackpool to Portsmouth.
Yeah, we're playing in the Super Series next week.
I can say that because I've got to drive him.
That won't be the first time, Philip. Wonder if he'll stay away for your company this time, though.
Probably not.
I wonder if FaceTime Danny Baggish, who was illegally restreaming our broadcast.
Literally, this time last year when I drove him from Blackpool to Portsmouth, he messaged Baggish, and then by the time we'd left, we didn't even got to the motorway and he was asleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a real interesting one. Speaking of the seniors, the action returns. We do go back to Viva in Blackpool this weekend for Champion of Champions, Gob.
Yes. That's it. That's what I'm saying. No, really look forward to it. It's not a venue that's known for darts. It's a town that's known for darts. But actually, I'm really excited about this venue. It worked really, really well last year. I thought the layout looked really good. Maybe would have moved the walk-on potentially when you're framing it up from the on-stage view. But actually, everything else about it worked really well. We don't have to consider running floor events at the same time, so it should run a little bit smoother. It's just going to be a really good weekend. It's a really solid 8 players. I think the matchups are really intriguing. We've got Gates versus Howson again. Repeat or revenge that story there. We finally get Adams versus Taylor. And I think we've got 2 really intriguing matches through players that came through the qualifiers. Richard Erig Roland has been in 3 qualifying finals in a row. He lost to McEwen in the 4th World Championship qualifier final, won the 5th one, wasn't allowed to play in the 6th one, and then won the first Champion of Champions. So that's 3 finals in a row in that room. Is some form and takes some going. And now that he's played on TV that once, he's got that bug about it. Thornton left early last weekend. He had a bit of a shoulder injury and he's not really produced on the floor. And now that Gates has become the main man elsewhere as well, he's got a little something to prove, I think. And then the other one, Henderson versus Hamilton, repeat again from a World Championship matchup. Andy Hamilton at times in the last week in Portsmouth, I mean, I've had the best view in the house of it, has looked like Andy Hamilton, a Premier League player. He's been averaging 115 after 3 legs. All right, he's not quite maintained it for a best of 7, but if he gets out of the blocks early, he'll give Henderson a real good game.
Yeah, look, it's all about getting out the blocks.
If he's behind to Henderson, I don't see the fight back. I'll be honest. And Andy's in a great frame of mind right now. Really positive outlook. He's telling me how much he's looking forward to being there and playing in it, and he's got the bug again, and the seniors as a concept has given him this new lease of life to be Andy Hamilton, the dart player again. If he gets out and is front running against John Henderson, I think the world champ's in trouble.
I mentioned it last week that before Denny on camera, after he qualifies, the first thing he was saying is how much I love it. I just want to tell people how much I love it. Because people think as soon as I've dropped off, my enjoyment of the game isn't there. I can't wait to be back on TV. And you don't want to be playing Henderson. It's the draw that nobody wants. However, in a weird way, and the battle and the aggression that Andy Hamilton brings, that's part of the draw we would have wanted at some stage this year to sort of, it may have been the semi-final or a final and not the first round. But I think Andy Hamilton's up for this fight. I'm not too concerned if he does behind. It's just the manner in that lead.
Yeah.
If it's only a couple of legs, 3 legs maybe to push, just as a format.
Yeah.
If he finds himself like 7-3, it's that sort of that break, then I'm a bit more worried. But I think the aggression, the fight from Andy Hamilton, and the pressure on John Henderson. We've seen John Henderson fail when the pressure's been on him before. We saw him in York, I want to say, last year when he was favourite and he just hated it. He was favourite for the Worlds this year and he's performed, but it's not always done his way when he has been favourite. I see your point on what you're saying about Erid, Roland's against Thornton, Dob, but Thornton's just a different beast on TV. He's just an animal. He hasn't performed on the floor. And I guess the one game that you haven't mentioned there of the 4 was the return of Phil Taylor. He sat down and spoke to you, Phil, was it last week before? And there's a lot of the right words are being said, shall we say? But actually, what is he doing to make sure that the right game's there? And Martin Adams was there 2 weeks ago in Reading and played some very, very good stuff. Top of a semi-final, I think, in there, maybe a last 16 or quarter-final as well. Martin Adams was playing very, very well. So that's going to be difficult for Phil Taylor. It's going to be intriguing because there is a story with all 4 games. We've been the qualifiers coming in, the repeat, revenging 2 of them as well. And Phil Taylor, Martin Adams being another one in what could be the last time that them 2 face each other. There's certainly enough stories there before a dart's been thrown.
the John Henderson point, if he'd have gone to the Worlds and not won it, I'd have agreed. But the fact he's won that TV tournament in the seniors now, I think he turns up here a completely different player off of the back of an absolute solid 3 days on the Challenge Tour, 2 days on the Pro Tour. I think he's going to be battle ready, and I think he'll be too much for Andy Hamilton. Although I agree, Andy is playing exceptionally well. I just think that right now, with what we've seen, Hendo may be a level above.
From a prediction-wise, I am not disagreeing on the route you've Nadal down. I just think there's a matchup. It now is that little bit more intriguing because of Andy Hamilton's form over the past 2 weeks. John Henderson would be strong favourite and probably still is, but it won't be as high because of Andy Hamilton's form, you would think. But still, John Henderson's got to be big favourite for that day because of him being a recently crowned world champion.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just looking, there's no odds out for it yet. Right, let's go through. We'll do it in draw bracket order. Before we do that, just a quick one. Where was it? Will said Gate's been playing well the last few weekends. Swept it this weekend fairly easy. It was WDF events. So first up, Leonard Gates against Richie Howson, boys.
He's not going to like me for this because he's not the sort that likes the attention. But I think we get some revenge from Mr. Howson. He will. I think he'd be the first to admit that for the last 6 to 9 months, he's been a bit distracted playing snooker. He played in one of the 900 qualifier and whatever else, and he's enjoyed that. But the last 6-8 weeks, he's a man who has a lot of free time on his hands. If he goes down the club, he was playing 5-6 hours of snooker a day. He's now doing an hour on the snooker table and 4 to 5 hours on the dartboard, 3-4 times a week. He is putting the work and the hours straight back in. And I think we've seen glimpses of that on the floor events in the last few weeks. We see him win an open event during the Worlds qualifiers. We've also seen him go deep the weekend just gone. I think we get a response from Richie.
Score?
10-7.
Boise?
10-8. Head and heart. 10-8 Leonard Gates. Sorry, Richie. Because he is playing ridiculously well. He won one of the 3 events he took playing the last weekend we was there, but mentally I just think Gates has got something over Richie.
I think 10-7 Gates. I just think Leonard will be too much down the straight. If he gets going, he's scoring. I don't think Richie can live with it. Next up, Worlds Collide, a game that we have been waiting to see. Look, I'd love to have seen these two go at it in their prime, but we still get to see it. Phil Taylor against Martin Adams, gents.
Unfortunately, I only see it going one way. I've done it about halfway to Martin Adams.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned about Wolfie at the Worlds. And after seeing him in Portsmouth, having a runner to the challenges and starting to just look aged. But then he rocks up in red. All right, and he plays one event a day because of the way the qualifiers are spread out. But he played very well, very consistently. He's still there for Adams.
Well,
And
with
it's
everything-
just still there that little bit more than it is for Phil right now, because despite all the talking and how much it hurts and him leaving the venue straight away after losing to Manfred and conversations that he doesn't want to go out this way, the difference is when he gets back home on that Tuesday or Monday or whatever and he's sat on the sofa, I still don't think it's enough to get him off his arse to practice. And that ain't going to cut it in that room. I'm going 10-6, Martin Adams.
I just think the way that everything that Martin's been through, Darts took a back seat. But the fact he has played recently more regularly, it's still there. Look at the Tavern. He was poor in his first game, but improved the more he played going into his second game. So I'm with you. I'm clean sweep. I'm going 10-6 Martin Adams.
The thing is, I had a chat with Martin in Reading, and obviously with everything that's happened and how his mindset is obviously down to change, he's looking forward to this probably a lot more than he has done for a while because of everything that where his mind was while he was on the stage. I just think we're going to see more in Reading and Newbury. We're going to see more active at these events. And obviously at the AGEs, I'm not saying we're going to see a huge peak, but what we will see is when we come to these TV events, if he is selected or if he has won a place there, we're down to see more of the Martin Adams that we saw in the seniors in, I don't remember the year he beat Richie, 22.
The first year,
20.
5 ton pluses, including 3 150 pluses.
Yeah.
In 2022. And then, not saying that manner of performances, but that sort of run he had to the final,
Also,
that
you're
is more.
trying to get shot by Richie tonight. First you backed against him, and now you've brought up the Martin Adams moment as well.
Yeah,
Right?
if he is listening, I'm going to get a message at some point, absolutely telling me. But I just feel like that he's looked on at the Dame and Phil Taylor's are just completely different at the minute. And the time that Martin will be putting in. And he won't be affected by the fact he's playing Phil.
No.
I don't think it'll have any impact on him. So I just think this is set up for a Martin Adams win.
Do you know what I would like to see from Phil? And I'm not sure he's going to do it. I'm not sure he's going to think about it this way. I'd love to see a setup change.
No chance.
Not
I know what you're saying, but
not a significant one, but go to a bigger flight. Because the margin for error with the setup that he throws is so small. And where you're not practicing as often, that's where he's getting punished. He's still hitting tons. He's still hitting 1080s. He's still taking out big finishes, but only when he's on it. If he's off slightly, the misses are so much bigger right now. And if he goes to just a standard flight, that's reduced.
the thing is, I completely agree from a technical aspect, but I don't think there's time to sort his dart out to lay flat with a standard flight. Because as soon as you put a standard flight on those darts, it completely changes the dynamic of how they sit.
It's easier to adjust that than it is get so in tune with his action again, I think.
I just, from a technical point of view, I agree, but I just don't think it happens.
I know he's become synonymous with that shape and style, but they are just so difficult to throw. Even for him, right? Like, he's made it look very easy for a long time. And actually, if you consider the success he's had with a shape and style of dart that is so much more difficult to throw than a straight barrel dart and a standard flight. Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, no, look, I completely agree.
Yeah. Like, just do something simple.
Robert Thornton against Richard Roland.
I see it being one-sided. I see it being heavily one-sided, just because of the change there's not many players who change as drastic as what Robert Thornton does from a floor player to a TV player. There was question marks around his top sitting at the Worlds, because it wasn't as good as it normally is. But if he finds that, I see this going to, I've got it down as 10-4 to Thornton.
I'm with you. I just think that Thornton's going to be too strong up there. 10-5. I think.
My only worry with Thornton in this one is the pace of Irid. That has a potential impact on Thornton's performance. But I think if Rob gets the lead early on, then I expect him to march on and capitalise quite easily.
Gob?
I do this all the time. I get to the event and I go, I don't fancy Thornton. And then he goes and wins it. But I don't fancy Thornton.
Credit where credit's due. When Richard qualified, the word you said to me is, he will beat Thornton.
Like you said, the pace doesn't suit Thornton at all. It's not easy to get into a rhythm. You think beaten by Andy Hamilton, who completely takes the pace out of the game anyway. He's got to finish well as Richard Eric, which he does on the floor. He takes out ton pluses for fun. You think the very first leg against Neil Duff at the World Championship, he missed 9 darts for the first leg. And then he was constantly playing catch up, and he still picked up sets and been really competitive with a very good looking Neil Duff, by the way. And I think now he's been up there on TV once. He knows what to expect. That little bit more. I think he shades it 10-8.
I don't see it personally, but
Oh, neither do I.
John Henderson against Andrew Hamilton.
Does this have to be won by 2 clear?
Nope.
Decision made then.
10-9 to who?
John Henderson.
Check the format. Right, this one wins a decider.
Yeah. And so all 3 of us were sort of in agreement in regards to the form of Andy Hamilton and my worries around Henderson's favourite title. But I just think that extra current experience of being in them deciders and crucial moments would just play in Endo's way. I think this is going to be an absolute battle. This is the one of the 4 games that I'm really looking forward to. It has to be the standout.
$10-8 Hendo. Happy birthday.
10-7 Hendo.
Well
Right.
done, Andy.
Yeah. Come 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, I would like your winner and runner-up, gentlemen.
I don't even know who's in the side of the draw. That's really bad of me.
I did it in draw bracket order.
Get it in order.
So Gates Howson, Taylor Adams top half, bottom half, Thornton, Roland, Henderson, Hamilton.
Semis and final best of 25. First to 13.
Cheers, Rachel.
Got my tits. Cheers.
All right.
Keep going, mate. You can move in anytime you want.
I can't move down as well. We'd all be down there, and we'd have to be live every Monday. We'd have to
we
be
get
together.
I'll go first. Richie Howson wins a title. It's coming.
Don't do that.
It's coming.
I think
And he beats Hendo 13-10 in the final.
Leonard Yates made it back-to-back. Champion of champions, defeating Robert Thornton in the final. Does I think Thornton beats Hendo?
Leonard Yates beats which one? Beats John Henderson 13-11 in the final.
Do we think, given, how do I put this delicately? There's clearly one weaker quarterfinal in terms of current levels in Taylor and Wolfie. Is that a benefit to whoever wins the Gates Housing game, such that they're then going to play the semi-final first against arguably the weaker player to get through to the semi-finals, and then have a break before they go again in 2 races to 13 on the same day?
I just don't see the winner of Gates and Howson not making the final.
No.
I just can't see a scenario where it doesn't happen.
Although Taylor pushed Gates a long way in Blackpool last year.
But again, that was in the first round.
Yeah.
That's it. If he comes through Adams, he's played one game and then has to come back.
I don't see an outcome where that doesn't happen. Whether it be Leonard or Richie.
Yeah.
10-8 in that one. That was the closest quarterfinal last year.
Yeah. It was close, but you always felt that Gates had him where he wanted him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes and no. Phil was always, for me, just a leg away from making it a real match.
He was, but I never saw him winning that leg was the issue.
He had chances. He had chances. Admittedly, some of them were given to him by Gates. He just never took any of them.
So that is what we think is going to happen at Champions of Champions. God, give them the lowdown where you can watch it all.
For all sessions on the BBC iPlayer and BBC Sport website in the UK. If you are international, it's once again available on 24/7 TV for £4.99 for the weekend. That covers both sessions. The big news, or the good news this year, is that the Sunday session will be on the BBC Red button as well, so you can tune in directly from your TV at a press of a button without having to go onto the iPlayer app or BBC Sport website through that one.
Decent. How we doing, Mace? I hope you're feeling better now, mate. So yeah, that is the seniors, and this is the last one. There's a bit of a break between seniors competitions because of the sport scheduled during the summer, Gob.
Yeah, indeed. So this summer includes an Olympic Games and a European Championships. So that is why the last 2 events are at the back end of next year. We've got a few floor events between now and then, but the back end of the year will be where we will see the Masters and the match play. Typically, as I move down south, both events are miles up north.
Do they both clash with PDC events or just one?
Both. One clashes with the Grand Prix and one clashes with the Grand Slam. The first one clashes with the opening weekend of the Grand Prix. I can't remember if Grand Prix starts on a Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
The last 2 events are Friday, Saturday for the seniors, so you've missed the final day.
No, Grand Prix normally starts on a Monday. Sorry.
It does in UK, doesn't it? Yeah, Sunday when it was in Ireland, it finished on the Saturday. Monday in UK. So that'll be fine. But then
Friday, Saturday, Sunday to travel, Monday for the Grand Prix.
But then the Masters clashes with the opening weekend of the Slam, probably the busiest weekend of TV tournament.
Yeah, the worst possible weekend it could clash when you've got best of 9 games coming out your ears.
We employ about 36 million people in our team then.
Games done at your ears, and it being Phil Taylor's last ever event on the same day.
On the Friday. No, again, the Friday would be fine. It would just be the Saturday. Slam starts Saturday, doesn't it? Saturday night. Yeah. You could be there for the Friday in his final game, but then you've got to get from top there
to down there.
I'm flying. I'm not driving that. Take me 3 days to get there in a 207.
No, I can do mine from mine to Newcastle in 5 hours.
Exactly. Can fly it in 20 minutes.
It's easier driving. Today's Pro Talk, Raymond van Barneveld, gentlemen, is back in the winner's circle.
It's 1:45. We're not expecting back today's darts. Jesus. Look good as well. I mean, at absolutely no point in the day did we expect him to win the title. Even in the final, he started a heavy second favourite, and then he wins it 8-1. So, yeah, solid.
Yeah. And all but books his place at the World Grand Prix and the match play.
Yeah, just what we need. Which means he won't be on the seniors anytime soon. Sorry, folks.
How are we doing, Joe? I'm just waiting for our WhatsApp to ping where he's calling us every name under the sun.
You bunch of Tuesdays. There it is. Literally, word for word. And he's watching on a delay.
Imagine if one time the Barney alarm wakes up the newborn. Sorry, Jar.
I'll do it again then.
I just had the image of Jar cradling his little one as he just booted the cat out the back door. But no, look, Pro Tour returns tomorrow. But look, again, I know he lost in the semi-final, but again, Gary posting huge numbers.
I knew exactly where you were going. Like, yeah, Barney's won a title. Bunting in the final, looked brilliant. Nearly died coughing a fit in the semi-final. But isn't Gary wonderful?
He's going to win a TV title this year.
Yeah, I agree.
I just can't see that he's not.
Well, I can see that he's not, because he'll just end up getting runs or opponents like he has done.
Yeah. That's like, but I just think that he's in every TV tournament this year as well, where last year he wasn't. The only one he's not in at the moment is the Slam.
I'd love for him to win the Slam. Complete the set.
Yeah. Yeah, Mason just put Gary at 103 for the day. Yeah, RVB 95. Yeah, if you could handpick... Oh, no, to be fair, part of me, just for shits and giggles, would love Gary to win the Worlds and then tell him that he's not playing the Premier League or World Series just for a laugh.
Do it.
But from and the skies
crumbles.
But
and then we'll see him on board out at the UK Open.
But look, yeah, for him, I'd love to see him win the Slam.
Would be nice.
Is Gary now a floor player? He's always when he wants it, he's always played well on the floor and the stage.
Yeah, he used to be Mr. Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah. Win on the Saturday.
Got first round on a Sunday. I've done my work for the weekend, lads. I'm off. See you later.
Yeah, it was probably the first one to test the urns when it moved to midweek, because you don't know where to be. You can just stay there and play them all.
Yeah.
You don't need the trip back on the Sunday for fishing.
To be fair, Bob, I think that goes both ways. I think that Gary's helped Ryan as well. I genuinely think they've been superb for each other. I just think it's such a good link up. The fact they live within 40 minutes of each other just works for the pair of them.
Yes.
It's because we've only had 3 months of darts, and someone like Ryan Searle, we haven't seen an awful lot because he's not in the Premier League. Same with Dando. Ryan Searle's in that conversation of being one of the best players of 2024 so far. Because we are only talking about 1 or 2 TV events. That's got to be as part of what's happened between him and Darry. Obviously, Darry's in that conversation as well. That's got to be as a joint partnership. Was it Martin Lukeman who talked about being jealous of that partnership?
Yeah, because he'd love to be.
And there's probably about another 120 players who are, just because we've seen the benefits already of the 2 of them. And if that continues...
Could you imagine marking one of those practice sessions?
Yes.
It would just be criminal, wouldn't it?
How many leads would they play in the same time that Adam Dorlas and what's its name was today?
At least 25.
Right?
You laugh. 10 legs, 39 minutes. Again, another mark that Barry will be thinking, shot clock. Yeah, Warren, absolutely agreed that James Hurrell has had a great start to life as a tour card holder. Qualified for a Euro Tour. Was it last 8 today? Really, really good from the former England captain.
The disappointment will be for him that was a huge opportunity against Barney in the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
I know he's done on the money. See that opportunity.
He's only 3 months into a tour card holder. He's up to world 89.
Great start.
That's what I mean. That's a very, very good start.
Surely not.
What's that? You think, you look at it, we all fully agree that we believe Andy Barton's is going to be an absolute top PDC professional. Yet James Hurrell's earned almost double what Andy Barton's earned so far this year.
Barney had the lower average in 3 out of 7 games.
Oh, completely. Whilst we're on the subject of today's Pro Tours as well, there was one man that has made a huge move as well. Cameron Menzies is only 1,250 quid away from a provisional match play spot. Cammy's gone under the radar the last 6 months massively.
I guess his start to the year, he's totally in the top, or was around the top 10 of the Players' Championships. I haven't done it in front of me. But he's sort of, for this year, which is showing his form on the floor, it's just been his consistent runs to last 16s and quarterfinals. He hasn't progressed any further than that, but he's throwing some ridiculous stuff. He's played pretty well in Minehead as well. So there's certainly a lot of positives in his game. That we've always said it. He sits out as probably one of the players who you say A game ridiculous, B game question marks. He seems to have improved that B game. There wasn't much improvement that was needed on his A game, let's be honest. But it was that B game that needed work, and that B game seems to have improved drastically. So he's in a very, very good position to go and progress. I guess the key thing for Cam's always been that his 2 years so far on a tour, he's always got to the World Championships. He's just got to keep maintaining that as an absolute minimum and then building with a match play appearance or Grand Prix, and then you can progress and anything's possible.
Yeah, he's 11th on the...
Yeah.
So, should we open the chat room for question time, boys? Whilst we do that, congratulations to Bradley Roos, who picked up the Modus Super Series title this weekend just gone. Saturday was really, really good. Really good night of darts.
He was brilliant. Solid lineup for the final 6 as well.
Yeah.
Good week all around, I think. I'm still staggered that John Michael wasn't in the final 6. The bloke's had me in Fitzel after a week, but considering he was so close to winning Group A, and then to finish where he did in Group B was quite staggering. The quality of Jeff Smith on show undone potentially by just the format. In the end, done by a very, very good finishing performance from David Cameron. That was the Cameron that won the Masters.
Yeah, his finishing was incredible.
Yeah, all night, clutch. Fuck off, Jar.
But
yeah, he's just the way that he asks if the dart is in has me cracking up. He just goes, "Is?" When you say what is it, he just says "is" at you. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm not sure why Matt Campbell missed. We'll try and find out. Also, before we go into question time, obviously the lineup was announced for the US Darts Masters, and we've got night 23 of the Premier League.
Well, technically it's night 17, isn't it? Or 20 or something, because we've already had the World Series. Yeah. Let's be honest, the only difference we're going to get is when one of the big boys says, I'm not fucking off to Australia for 3 weeks.
Well, MVG is not doing Copenhagen. He's already told the world because he's going to Vegas on holiday.
Yeah.
And he's already told us that he's not doing Australia and New Zealand because he's having the second part of his op. He said that in the interview. He's booked in the day after the match play final. His words were, "I hope I'm in the hospital hungover." So we know that. But yeah, other than that, it's Lee. If I could give you some details, I would. But it's not an influence. It's just an influencer a day, and I've got no idea what's going on. If I'm being honest.
Live stream.
Oh yeah, it's going to be on, but as to what it is, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna. So right, get your questions in then, everyone. Let us know what you want us to answer. And if it is, where's Kate Middleton? The answer is we don't know.
Steady on.
Michael Smith, the new Jockey Wilson. If he wins 2 world titles, I guess he'll be happy. Yeah.
Very happy.
Slightly less intoxicated.
Joe, if it's not a question, it's a statement. Why you put a question mark in it for?
Did you see something about Ben? Yeah, look, when players have just lost, don't get me wrong, I'm all for players doing media when they've lost, but that's the rawness.
Juicy shit.
Yeah, but again, a bit like Klopp yesterday, if you ask him stupid questions, you're going to get a stupid answer. Is the thing. And look, Michael didn't play bad last week. He's averaged 110. Yes, he's lost, but the question was ridiculous considering he just averaged 110. But look, I'm all for it. A Premier League night in Belgium, I could see it.
Yeah, they're loving it at the minute.
Yeah. Is Tim Williams banned from entering Blackpool because he defo didn't want to qualify for the match play?
Every time he looks like he's remembered he's a dart player. Nope, I'm off.
Yeah.
Mental.
What am I looking forward to at the seniors this weekend? I'm looking forward to seeing Taylor Wolfie. I'm not going to lie.
Fish and chips on the Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
Taylor Wolfie for me. With so many dropping out every time it's a ball like to go, will the PDC get... No, that they have to have events in somewhere else other than the UK, Mark, without getting the exact numbers, but I think the tour card holder ratio is close to 50-50. It's certainly not lopsided for the UK like it used to be. So, although the people from the UK don't want to travel, it's not fair for the Europeans that have to come all the time. So there has to be something in mainland Europe.
Their marking scheme better yet?
Yeah.
I didn't know none of the traditional PDC lot were on the streamer board this weekend.
I don't think any of the traditional lot have gone.
Well, the streaming lot are paid differently. Their
What,
PDC, yeah.
Oh, yeah, over here, yeah, I knew they were, yeah. So yeah, there'll always be something, and it has to be as well. You can't have everything over here. Well, interesting one from Jamie. This, and there is any new features or stats you'd like to see on a DARTS scoreboard on TV. I'd like to see a heart monitor. No, don't get me wrong, a heart monitor would be quite good, but you know,
just show who's more pissed.
Or who's ice cold under pressure.
But that's what the alcohol detracts from that. It keeps you calm under pressure.
The one for me is 2 treble visits, because you just get tons or ton pluses, 140 pluses. I'd like to see a better breakdown of where the scoring.
91 plus, 131 plus, 171 plus. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd like to see
40,
that.
10,
I feel like I saw that feature recently somewhere.
Either ITV or Sky changed it, or Eurotour maybe. Someone changed their breakdown, and then either they changed it back or someone else has done it differently. I don't know which way around it was.
I feel like it was a Prem night and it was 91, 131, 171.
Yeah.
And
I
that
agree.
was so much better.
This is stupid. Leg by leg averages is stupid. Oh, they averaged 115 in that leg. No, didn't have a 30 dart leg. Get over it.
Yeah, I like this. I like the mini session averages. What they averaged across a mini session.
Sessions is a leg average is irrelevant. A mini breakdown of legs 1 to 5, then they had a break legs 6 to 10. That's an average.
Jar, we'll sort that tomorrow. But yeah, bang up for it.
What are we? This is good as well. It should be double success visit, not double success as a stat. If your visit perfect, doesn't make a difference. You can miss if you got 3 in hand every single time you hit third dart, your opponent's still not coming back in that visit.
Yeah.
But you're 33% on the outer ring. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Wow,
That should be changed. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. It was on the Euro Tour. Those stats, apparently. Cheers, Bill.
I knew I'd seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, do you know any, Mace? Where are we tomorrow, pal? Are we at yours? Oh, wait, you're not there. Fuck.
I'm trying to say he's in Portsmouth. So,
shit.
Everyone, thank you very, very much for your support. Banging show this evening. If you haven't yet, make sure you drop us a like and subscribe as always. Pro Tour stream does return tomorrow. Gob will be kicking it off, and I will be on once the Super Series is done. So looking forward to that mental week ahead. Loads and loads going on. We've got Premier League, we've got seniors action, Pro Tour action, you name it. We have it covered here at Online Darts. But thank you very, very much as always. This will be available audio only in the morning, so give it a listen back if you can. But until then, I've been Phil Bars, Jack Garwood, and Lee Boyce. Thank you very, very much as always. That is us at Online Darts signing out for another night, and we'll see you all very, very soon.
Oh.